Hi, I'm Saskia Kraus. I'm the module leader for HLIN482. And today we're just going to talk through the tutorial letter and also look at some key theories in your module that might be necessary for you to better understand your assignments as well as your portfolio assignment. Suren Naika, a lecturer here at UNISA, will also be presenting with me throughout the course of the series of lectures. Firstly though, we want to look at the tutorial letter, and I want to make you aware that there are some materials that you will need to complete this course. The first one is the tutorial letter 101. With that, you're going to have your e-reserves, which are prescribed, that you can access on my UNISA. I've had some response from students who can't seem to open the MyUNISA e-reserves. You can also access them through the library and by entering your course code there on the main website of the library. If you can't do that either, you're more than welcome to email me and I will assist you with accessing all of those, because it's extremely important that you read them all. Alright. If you want to email me, you're more than welcome to do so on the above email address, or you can phone me on the number in that corner of the board. Alright, another thing that's extremely important and will be very helpful for this course is your prescribed book. Now, the book is called Cognitive Linguistics: An Introduction by Evans and Green. You can find this book in an academic bookstore, but if you struggle, please again email or phone me and I will get the book to you or assist you in getting the book. Firstly though, let's look at the tutorial letter. Now, this is the most important thing that you're going to need for this course, particularly because it lists all your assignments and the details that you would need to complete these assignments. It also conveniently guides you through what to read in terms of the e-reserves and what is relevant for what assignment. It's important to remember that in terms of mark allocation, each assignment counts 10% toward your final year mark. The last assignment, assignment 4, is your portfolio assignment. This counts 70%. It is like an exam, although in this course we don't write exams. It is only a portfolio for you to do. So you've got everything accessible from the start to you. Alright, now all our contact details are listed in this tutorial letter as well, if you want to communicate with us more personally. What I did is I also added an additional assignment guide on my UNISA. This guide will guide you very specifically and in more detail through each assignment and how to approach a question at honours level and how to answer it properly. Certain question terms should be interpreted in certain ways, and this guide will assist you with the finer details of each assignment, referencing and academic writing included. So that is not the aim of these particular lectures. These lectures will be about theory and what you need to understand regarding theories. Now, if you look at assignment 1, the first assignment, it's going to guide you as to what to read firstly, and you would read through those particular e-reserves, but also remember your prescribed book is extremely important. The concepts that are relevant for assignment 1 is firstly the Cognitive Linguistics Enterprise. Now, there's a reason we call it the enterprise of cognitive linguistics, and you can go and look in your prescribed book, which gives you a nice comprehensive explanation about that. In this particular question, in question 1, it's important to give us an overview of the cognitive linguistics enterprise as you best understand it. And your prescribed reading for that particular question also guides you very clearly and simplistically through the enterprise so that you fully understand it as well. One of those in particular is Yanda, 2010, who's given us an overview, almost like a summary of what's been happening in the field over a certain period of time, and that's been extremely helpful in understanding how we got to where we are in this field today. The second question relates more to empirical and theoretical basis of cognitive linguistics. Again, it gives you relevant reserves to go and look at, especially in this regard, Gerards and Sampson. And both of those guide you very, I think, basically through all of these aspects, because it is quite a complicated phenomenon, and those reserves break it down quite nicely. So make sure that you understand them very well. All right, now, as I said, you can read more on this in the additional assignment guide, so I'm not trying to rush through the assignments, but I think it's most important to look at the theoretical concepts that you might need to understand for this course. If you look at the second assignment, which also counts 10% of your mark, we look at a comparison here between cognitive linguistics and what's known as the mainstream approach of linguistics, or Chomskyan linguistics. Now, you should have started dealing with that already in your third year, but we want a little more detail here. We want you to be able to, step by step, tell us about the assumptions of each of these approaches, the strengths of them and the weaknesses of them. We want you to be able to point out what's valuable about these assumptions and then critique what needs to be critiqued in your opinion. So it's very important to understand both approaches very well, because to be able to critique something, you need to know the ins and outs of it. It also gives you a very, very nice fundamental basic understanding of how cognitive linguistics came into being and what's its most important features and theories and how we go about working in the field. All right, so it can again be an extremely detailed debate. If you start researching it, you'll find a lot of literature on it, and we also give you some literature in the TAP letter, as well as, again, your e-reserves, which are prescribed. But remember how to summarize what's important and how to focus on the necessities, and then don't go into too much detail so that you confuse yourself at the end of the day. Be clear and concise in your approach to writing it. The other aspect that needs to be introduced here is the two commitments of cognitive linguistics. Now that you would have already gotten exposure in the first assignment of. If you again look at the Evans and Green book, with regards to the enterprise as a whole, it's going to discuss those commitments to you. And you can reiterate it here and use it to explain the field a little later. Okay, then another aspect of the part two of assignment 2 that you're going to do starts with the theoretical part. Now, firstly, if you want to look at the two commitments in the prescribed book, you will find that on page 27 of the prescribed work. Now we're going to look at conceptual metaphor theory in part 2 of assignment 2. Now, before we go into detail in the next video about the theory and explaining it a little better to you so that you understand, you can start looking at conceptual metaphor theory in the prescribed book on page 296 to 304. Another important concept that you need to know to be able to fully grasp the theory is frame semantics, framing, or image schemas. Now, this is also nicely laid out to you in page 222 to 230 of your prescribed book. So please read that as well, although we will be explaining it to you a little later on. Alright, now if we look at assignment 3, which also is 10% of your final mark, here it's a little more complex because now you need to have a firm understanding of the theory to be able to apply it in your own example context. In this case, it's going to be an advertisement. So here you have the freedom to come up with a unique ad that you think would work, and then apply the theory in a way that you can then eventually find or do research to find results on how successful your ad is and how people perceive your ad. So it will take a little bit of thinking, but if you've got a good theoretical basis to start off with, this will come relatively naturally to you. So please be creative and have fun with this particular assignment. All right. Now, when we think of the fourth assignment, we're going to think of it as an exam. So we're not going to guide you through the fourth assignment, But we are going to address a very important theory that you will have to deal with in the 4th assignment, which is blending theory, conceptual blending. We are going to talk about that in a later lecture as well. So for now, this is the overview of the TAT letter and everything that you will need to complete this course, and we'll see you again.